have one question for oral answer understanding order number 74, one question for oral written answer understanding order number 75. We have one private member's motion, consideration of bills at different stages, and then the House is expected to resolve into Committee of Supply. Now take time to look at the details of the order paper.
Absolutely. Question 104 is going to come from Mr. Mutale of Chitambo constituency. He will ask the Minister of Transport and Logistics a question in three parts: whether the government is aware that the delay in commissioning the pontoon installed at Lyomba River Crossing Point in Lyomba Ward in Chitambo Parliamentary constituency has resulted in the pontoon being vandalized and is on the verge of sinking. If so, what urgent measures are being taken to curb the vandalism and prevent the pontoon from sinking? And lastly, when the pontoon will be commissioned.
The question for written answer, which is not discussed on the floor of the House, comes from Mr. Cassandra Bangwell, Member of Parliament, and it's question W3, who has directed this question to the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development and wants to find out how many feeder roads were funded for construction under the Improved Rural Connectivity Project in Luapula Province from 2016 to 2021 district by district. He further wants to find in Part B how many feeder roads were completed as of December 2021.
We do expect Petauke lawmaker Mr. Emmanuel J. Banda to move a motion titled Increase Foreign Currency Daily Deposit Limits, that the House urges the government to increase foreign currency daily deposit limits in commercial banks. So that's the motion that will be moved by Petauke Member of Parliament. Wednesdays are set aside for private members' motions.
Right, and after this, the House now will move on to consider bills. The first bill that comes up for consideration is the Securities Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2022 at committee stage. We also have the Income Tax Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 for 2022 at committee stage or so. Then the third bill comes for consideration at report stage, and this is the Customs and Excise Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 27 of 2022.
Thereafter, the House will resolve into Committee of Supply to consider estimates of revenue and expenditure, and will consider the following heads. That's provincial heads. That's Head 92, Central Province; Head 93, Northern Province; and lastly for today, Head 94, Western Province.
Right, so that is the business ahead of us following the suspension of the standing orders that provides for the sitting times as well as adjournment times, as well as consideration of bills at not more than one stage in any sitting day. And that motion was moved by the acting leader of government business last week on Friday. And commencing yesterday, the House has been sitting from 9 hours, and this will take us through right to this week and Friday, when the House is expected to complete all business on the order paper and thereby adjourns sine die. So today, business resumes in just under 4 minutes' time as we await Madam Speaker's procession to make way into the chamber, and that's the kind of work that is lined up for us ahead of us. And this morning and all this part of the afternoon, and all this will come live on your number one station for parliamentary business, and this is Parliament Television.
Absolutely, and so just about now, as we get ready for resumption of business, we'll treat you to what's happening in the chamber right now. Members of Parliament getting ready for today's deliberations.
So shortly, we expect Madam Speaker's procession to make way into the chamber. And the business ahead of us, like we have indicated, we have one question for written answer. It is not discussed on the floor of the House, but it will be noted and be part of today's proceedings. The question for oral answer will be discussed on the floor of the House, and then the rest of the business, like always we've done, will bring to you live the deliberations of the proceedings on your number one station for parliamentary business. And just remind you that those standing orders that were suspended regulate the days in which to sit. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, the House sits from 14:30 and adjourns at 18:40 on Tuesday and 18:40 on Thursday. With regards to Wednesday, the House is expected to adjourn at 19:10. Business is interrupted at 19:10, but those standing orders were suspended. More reason the House is sitting just about now. And so that is Madam Speaker's procession making way into the chamber. Stay tuned.
Honorable members of Parliament, Madam Speaker.
dancing of Zambia, proud and free, land of work and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for our rights. We want freedom's fight, oh, one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by those who blend. Let us, all our people, join as one, brothers under the sun. Oh, one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry. Dignity and peace in Zambia's sky, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise be, bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Remain we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Since we don't have the quorum, can we have the bells ring again?
Standing orders provide that one-third of members of parliament must be present in the house for business to proceed. and there's no quorum at the end of the prayer, and so Madam Speaker has directed that bells be rung in order to summon members of Parliament to come to take seat, and once the quorum is formed, then business is expected to resume. Bells are ringing and the quorum is yet to be formed for business to be transacted. It's a requirement of 1/3 of members of Parliament, which translates to 55 members of Parliament, Claudette, to be seated.
Absolutely, and as soon as the quorum is formed, business will resume. We do expect the House to consider one question for answer understanding order number 74 and one question for written answer understanding order number 75, and this one will be responded to in writing.
Right, and then we have one private member's motion coming from Petauke Central Member of Parliament, Mr. Emmanuel J. Banda. His title is Increase Foreign Currency Daily Deposit Limits, that the House urges the government to increase foreign currency daily deposits limits in commercial banks. Then we have three bills, two at committee stage, one at report stage.
And the House will then resolve into Committee of Supply to consider Head 92, that's Central Province, Head 93, Northern Province, and lastly for today, Head 94, that's Western Province.
Again, just remind you that standing orders were suspended. This is what is enabling the House to sit from 9 hours from yesterday until Friday, and arrangements that work on the order papers, it appears, has to be concluded, and then the House adjourns to the following day until all business now is completed on the order paper as indicated by the acting leader of government business. All things being equal, on Friday the House is expected to raise synergy, and that will close the meeting for the first part of this particular session, which was officially opened in September by His Excellency the President.
So in case you've just tuned in, we're coming to you live. These are live pictures from the chamber here at the National Assembly. As soon as a quorum is formed, the business will resume. 1/3 of members of parliament needs to be present in the House in order for business to be transacted.
And it's appearing almost there. Quorum just about almost getting there, and a count being undertaken once we hit the threshold of 1/3. We expect business to resume. So still stay tuned. Business is expected to resume in a short while, and just making sure that regulation is not broken. So members are being summoned, and it seems now we seem to have a quorum, and business is expected to resume shortly.
I don't know whether it's fatigue or whatever it is, but we still don't have a quorum. The bills have run for 7 minutes. We'll give the House another 23 minutes. If there is no quorum, we'll have to unfortunately adjourn until tomorrow, which is the next sitting day. Whips, please, can we have the members in the House so that we can continue with the business? We only have 48 members at the moment. We need 56 for us to constitute a quorum.
Right, Madam Speaker, they are indicating that a quorum has not yet been formed, and as it counts, 48 members are present, and the quorum is supposed to have 56 members, translating to the 1/3 of members that are expected to be present, and as indicated that if a quorum is not formed, then the House is expected to adjourn.
Absolutely. And so as soon as the quorum is formed, business will resume. If our director is ready, maybe we could take a break as we wait for a quorum to be formed.
All right, let's see if we can get to those short messages. We'll take a break. We'll be back as soon as the quorum is formed. Director.
Honorable members, let's not leave our seats and go outside. We need to have all 56 honorable members sitting in the House for us to have a quorum. Please, all those honorable members who are in the lobbies, please can we come in? We only have 2 days left to debate, and this is a budget session. We cannot transact any business if the quorum is not constituted. By 0934, if there is no quorum, unfortunately, we'll have to adjourn until tomorrow in accordance with our standing orders. So please, whips, can we make sure that we have members in the House? We now have a quorum. There is an urgent matter of public importance. What's the urgent matter? Honorable member for Petauke Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Petauke this opportunity to raise the matter of urgent public importance, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the good people of Petauke, especially in Nyika Ward, which is Chimate, Tasala, Garden Compound, Hillside, and Fairview. It has been raining for about 3 days continuously. And where they have been getting water from the wells, the water is dead. It's dirty due to the rainfall. Now, Madam Speaker, we don't, as we are talking now, people, they haven't even reported for work because they don't have clean water even just to bath or also even for drinking. You have got time also. You have got your mic. You indicate and then you do what? Why are you interfering?
Order, honorable member. Order. Are you raising a matter of urgent public importance, or you want to engage other honorable members? Because if you want to engage, you can do that outside. We have a lot of business on our table. So please, can you get to your matter of urgent public importance?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for your guidance. I'm sure they are able now to understand the standing orders because they can only talk when you...
Honorable member for Petauke Central, please, can you sit down? Take your seat. Can we make some progress? Honorable members, I have one announcement to make. I wish to inform the House that the National Health Insurance Management Authority has been authorized to issue biometric membership cards to honorable members of parliament and staff who registered with the authority during their last registration exercise conducted from 10th to 13th October 2022. During the card collection exercise, the authority will also register honorable members of parliament and staff who may have missed the initial registration exercise. The program will take place on Thursday, 15th December 2022, here at Parliament Buildings main reception area from 09 hours to 17 hours. All members are encouraged to collect their biometric cards or register with the authority in order to have access to health facilities in NIMA accredited health institutions around the country. I thank you. Question for oral answer, under Standing Order 74, Honorable Member for Chitambo. The Honorable Member for Chitambo is not around, so therefore the question lapses. We make this pre-arrangement which comes after the matter has lapsed. Can we make progress? The Honorable Minister, notes of motion. The Honorable Member for Petauke.
And move on. Thank you, Madam Speaker, once more. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that this House urge the government to increase the foreign currency daily deposit limit.
Is the motion seconded?
The motion is duly seconded, Madam Speaker.
Seconded by the Honorable Member for Kamfinsa. The question is that this House urges the government to increase foreign currency daily deposit limits in commercial banks. Any debate? The Honorable Member for Petauke Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Petauke this opportunity to move the motion. Madam Speaker, allow me to register my profound gratitude to you for according me this opportunity to move this non-controversial private member motion, which seek to urge government to increase the foreign currency daily deposit limits. From the onset, I would like to mention that the objective of this motion is to safeguard our people from the risk of keeping huge sum of foreign currency in their homes simply because of the existing threshold of foreign currency daily deposit in the country. Madam Speaker, you may wish to note that huge amount of foreign currency are generated on daily basis by individuals and companies doing various business across the country. However, it is sad to note that on account of existing foreign currency daily deposit limit, the recipient of foreign currency are not able to deposit all the funds into commercial banks dotted across the country. For example, in 2020, Zambia earned around $820 million from the tourism sector. Some of this money was paid direct in dollar to various vendors, such as lodge owners for various services, tours operators, and curious traders, among others. Consequently, these people who receive dollars may want to deposit all the foreign currency in various commercial banks. Madam Speaker, for your information, daily deposit limits are regularly through assurance of commercial banks secured by the Bank of Zambia. As you may be aware, since 2010, 3 commercial bank circular have been issued by the Bank of Zambia to adjust the foreign currency daily deposit limits as follows. Commercial bank circular 6/2000 provide for foreign currency daily cash deposit limits of $5,000 for account holder and $1,000 for non-account holder. Commercial bank circular 18/2015 raised daily deposit for individual account holder from $5,000 to $20,000. The circular provides for foreign currency daily cash deposit limits for registered companies of $100,000. Non-account holders were left at $1,000. Commercial bank circular 08/2021 maintained the daily cash deposit for individual account holder at $20,000 and for registered company and organization at $100,000. It, however, raised the daily limit for individual non-account holder, in brackets individual and registered companies and organization, from $1,000 to $5,000. Further, the circular provided for $100,000 as threshold for bureaus. Madam Speaker, in view of the foregoing, it is important to increase the existing foreign currency daily deposit limit in order for our people to stop the risk of keeping foreign currency in their homes. Keeping huge sum of money is very risky because criminal can trail our businessmen and women and rob them of their hard-earned money. Benefit of increasing foreign currency daily deposit limits. Madam Speaker, in addition to ensuring the safety of the people who keep foreign currency in their home, since there is no option depositing the money, we afford the banks an opportunity to conduct due diligence on the legitimacy of transaction and detect any potential financial crimes. This is provided for in the Financial Intelligence Center Amendment Act number 16 of 2020, which states in section 24 that a reporting entirely shall exercise ongoing due diligence using a risk-based approach with respect to a business relationship with a customer, which include scrutinizing transaction undertaking through the course of that relationship to ensure that the transaction being conducted are considered with the financial service provider knowledge of the customer. Their business and risk profile includes, where necessary, the source of funding and maintaining current and accurate information and records relating to the customer or beneficiary owner. Further, depositing the money in the bank will foster growth of the formal economy. This will result in positive impact on the financial system liquidity. Increasing the foreign currency daily deposit limit will also help to increase foreign service, which are backup funds in case of an emergency, such as a rapid devaluation of the currency. Additionally, increasing foreign currency daily deposit limits will help to stabilize the kwacha, which has continued to depreciate. Madam Speaker, I am alive to the fact that increasing foreign currency daily deposit can lead to illicit financial transactions, such as money laundering. This should be not the reason to deter the government from adjusting the foreign currency daily limits as we have enough laws to curb suspicions of illegal transaction. This House may wish to note that it is a requirement for financial institutions to report suspicious transaction. For example, Section 16 of Financial Intelligence Center Act provides that a reporting entity shall identify its customer and verify its customer's identity by means of reliable and independent source documents or information where opening an account for or otherwise establish a business relationship with a customer. The customer who is neither an account holder or is in an established business relationship with a financial institution wishes to carry out a transaction in an amount equal to or above such amount as may be prescribed, whether conducted as a single transaction or several transactions that appears linked, and there is a suspicion of money laundering, financing of terrorism, or other various offenses, including the customer or the customer account. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, allow me to reiterate that on account of the foreign currency daily deposit limits imposed on the commercial banks, most of our people are forced to keep huge amounts of foreign currency in their homes or putting them digging underground, making their own banks, Madam Speaker, against their will. This undesirable act makes our people vulnerable to losses of their hard-earned cash through theft, fire, floods, and even loss of life. Therefore, to mitigate such risk, the government needs to increase the foreign currency daily deposit limits. I am therefore urging all honorable members to support this non-controversial motion, very progressive motion for the benefit of our people and business community and all those in national parks, all those who works with our tourists and the nation at large. With these remarks, Madam Speaker, I beg to move this motion for the benefit of the business community in our country and everyone, including us, because whatever we are buying from outside, we are buying using dollar, Madam Speaker, foreign currency. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the seconder wish to speak now or later?
I wish to speak now, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Kamfinsa.
I thank you once again, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to second the proposal that has been made by the Member of Parliament for Petauke Central Constituency. Madam Speaker, I want to indicate from the onset that I've had an opportunity to, first of all, sit down with the mover of the motion to understand what he's thinking, to understand what he's trying to communicate. Because if all of us here do not understand what he's trying to propose, perhaps we may not be able to understand the solution to the problem. And I'll try and give examples to simplify the proposal that the mover has made today. Madam Speaker, this proposal is about commerce. This proposal is about trade. This proposal is about ensuring that the wheels of commerce move faster. This proposal is about ensuring that the different categories of people that are doing business are able to, first of all, secure their money, are also able to send out money to facilitate, for instance, procurement of items. And I'll try and give 2 or 3 practical examples. I'll start with the different types of traders that we have in Zambia. Madam Speaker, you are aware that in Zambia we've got those that are informally trading, and we also have those that are formally trading. And I'm aware that some people have had time to formalize their businesses, where they register a company, and they start doing business. And this is very common. In Kitwe, for instance, we've got a very big market called Chisokode Market. Madam Speaker, if you had an opportunity to visit this trading facility, you'll discover that there are a lot of Zambians who, despite operating at what is called Chisokode Market today, actually are trading in huge volumes of businesses. Some of them, for instance, are importing equipment, some of them are importing tools, some of them are importing goods that are in excess of the limit that is provided for today in the law. And I'll give an example. If someone wants to buy items from China, and the money that is needed, for instance, on that particular day to make payment is, say, $30,000, with the current Bank of Zambia regulation, that person cannot deposit the $30,000 to buy those items that are needed for his business back in Zambia. The current limit, which is provided for under a circular by Bank of Zambia, says that you can only put in $20,000 into your account for you to be able to buy the commodities. So what Honorable Member of Parliament for Petauke is saying is that if there's a trader, if there's a Zambian who wants to facilitate the procurement of items, say, outside Zambia, and they need to put dollars into their account before they send the money outside, the limit currently is $20,000. So the mover is proposing that instead of the $20,000, that is the allowable limit today, the mover is proposing that can we adjust that figure from $20,000 to any figure that the Bank of Zambia will deem more necessary than the current amount. Now, this is very common among most people that are doing trading. And I know there might be an argument that what about those who have companies? A company and a sole trader who is an individual are totally different. Not everyone, Madam Speaker, who is raising money today through business is able to actually formalize all their business right away. So I'm trying to understand, when I sat with the mover, what is he trying to say? The mover is simply saying, if you have dollars which you have earned genuinely, and you want to facilitate trade, you want to be able to procure items for your business, Madam Speaker, the mover is saying, let us change the limit from the current $20,000 for individuals, from the current $100,000 for companies, for the current $100,000 for bureau de change, to a figure that will allow someone to facilitate their trade. This motion, Madam Speaker, is about trade. This motion is about allowing individuals to raise money. I know someone will argue that why can't the money be sitting, why can't the payment be made electronically? There are individuals, Madam Speaker, who have been doing business. You are selling vehicles on the streets. You sell vehicles and people come to you and say, what we have is cash. And genuinely you issue an invoice and you get your money. You need to put that money into an account. And the mover is simply saying, can we provide for the different scenarios of situations that we have prevailing? What we have prevailing, Madam Speaker, is that there are Zambians that are earning dollars on a daily basis more than the limit that has to be put in the bank. And the mover is saying, why can't we raise that limit so that once you raise that money, you issue an invoice. Other mechanisms, Madam Speaker, can be put in place for government to understand whether that money has been earned genuinely or it hasn't been earned genuinely. So the mover is saying, can government raise the limit? Can the Bank of Zambia raise the limit? And in terms of regulation, Madam Speaker, the Bank of Zambia Act number 5 of 2022 is okay, the law is fine. What is wrong is the regulation, because Bank of Zambia by regulation are given the mandate to vary the figure. We don't need to change any act of parliament here for us to achieve what the mover is proposing. What the mover is proposing, for it to be achieved, all we need is to agree today, and then the instruction goes to Bank of Zambia, and Bank of Zambia issues a new circular. It will not require any amendment of the existing law. So, Madam Speaker, I believe that the mover had a situation in mind. I believe that for the mover to come here to bring this proposal, for your office, Madam Speaker, to be kind enough to allow this motion on the floor, the reflection in the mover's mind was that how do we provide for the different categories of Zambians who have got dollars and they need to use those dollars and they need to use that foreign currency to be able to buy items for trade. And this is exactly what the mover is proposing. So, Madam Speaker, I stand here to support the proposal that the mover has made. I believe that the context of the motion needs to be understood. The context is that if currently we have no mechanisms to monitor where these dollars are coming from, that's a different conversation. This House can come back and say, if the problem is the dollars, if the problem is the source of the dollars, can we find a mechanism to deal with the source of the dollar? But to limit Zambians that have earned genuine dollars to put that money into their account simply because of a different problem. Madam Speaker, we are not dealing with the real problem. The real problem is that there are Zambians that want to put more dollars into their accounts, more than the current limit. And this is what the mover is proposing. So, Madam Speaker, I support the proposal. It's a business proposal. It's a commerce proposal. It's a trade proposal. And I do hope that the House do understand the context in which the proposal has been made. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Any further debate? The Honourable Member for Solwezi East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me this chance just to echo my voice on behalf of the good people of Solwezi East constituency, Mushindamo district. Madam Speaker, the move of the motion and the seconder seem to be contradicting themselves. There is a thin line of the intention which they are trying to advance here. One should bear in mind or ask questions, first of all. Why should one keep a lot of dollars or foreign currency in their homes? Why? Okay. If one asks that question, there must be some answers behind the back of their minds. Two, one can ask, where did they get such huge foreign currency? The source. Okay? Because we have laws in the country. For instance, in certain jurisdictions, you cannot keep over $2,000 cash. After you do your transaction, to get such kind of money in foreign currency, you are supposed to surrender it to the bank within 90 days. But if you keep it, that means you have certain evil intention. So what is the intention behind the issue of keeping money in the homes? In fact, if you look at the issues relating to illicit financial flows, this is where the benchmark of the issue being raised on the floor of this House is. Illicit financial flows starts from such kind of behavior of one keeping money in their homes. And an illegal way, actually, it is an illegal way of cleaning dirty money, which has been acquired through criminal activities such as drug-related crimes, embezzlement. Those are the issues. And if I heard clearly the move of the motion, talking about let's not look at the source of the dollars, that is where the key is. Why hide that point? Okay. So we should also ask, is dollar a legal tender in Zambia? The answer is no. We have the kwacha. And then also we should look at, for the Bank of Zambia to put regulations to guard against people keeping dollars or foreign currencies in their homes, meaning there is a reason which must be understood and respected. So, for the people of Solwezi East are saying this motion is already BID, as we would call it in medical terms. Okay? It is frivolous. It is actually showing that somebody is keeping huge amount of foreign currency in their homes, and they want to use this House to sneak in that data agenda, which actually has been happening. So, Madam Speaker, it does not need a rocket scientist to understand the agenda of this motion. It is plain. Even just a person on the street there can understand that this is a way of trying to sneak in these dirty monies that have been acquired and accrued over time. into the banks. Because, if anything, they have had enough time to change into our legal tender and transact and keep the money in the banks. After all, if I want to buy or to procure any equipment outside the country, the banks have the jurisdiction to convert that legal tender, the kwacha, into the foreign currency. So that is the legal way. So, Madam Speaker, I wouldn't want to go beyond, but otherwise just to say this motion is BID. It does not need this House to support it. And any person with the right frame of the mind cannot support such a motion. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
There is a point of order. What's the point of order?
Madam Speaker, the immediate debater has used the word any person with the right frame of mind cannot support this motion. Madam Speaker, I've just seconded the motion. Is the mover, is the debater suggesting that a person who holds a degree in electrical mechanical engineering is not in his right frame of mind? I thank you.
Order, order. It's the context that the debater was using. It was the context. So from the context, he was just expressing his view. So if honorable members have contrary views, just take note and then you rebut whatever the debater was saying. Order. The honorable member for Nyimba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Unfortunately, I'll be one of the people who are. Let me not start with this. Madam Speaker, I come from a rural constituency, and a good number of parliamentarians here, they come from a rural constituency. And where I come from, the only industry we have, it's agriculture. That is the industry we have. Madam Speaker, a good number of farmers in my constituency are able to grow 600 bags of, I want to go into those nitty-gritties of the act says what. They grow, one farmer is able to grow 600 bags of granules. If you go to Kasumbali, if you go to Kipushi, Kipushi is a border in Solwezi East, Mushindamo constituency. If you take a truckload of groundnuts today in Kipushi, you sell a bag of 50 kg at 1,000 kwacha. 1,000 kwacha times 600 bags on a truck, which is 30 tons. That gives you 600,000 kwacha. The Congolese will never pay you in kwacha. They will pay you in dollars. And a normal sensible person, he has to take the money to the bank. That is a normal person. And this normal person is saying, this money I've earned, genuinely, I need to go and deposit it. And when you go to the bank, they'll ask you the source of that money. A normal person will say, from farming, I traded in this. These are the things somebody can prove. 2 tracts of soybeans from Menyanzuri's farm can raise 1.2 million kwacha. I mean, can raise about 650,000 kwacha. A normal person take this money, go and deposit, doesn't want to keep the money in home, in his house, digging a trench somewhere and keep the money. The only people dig those trenches and put the money because the money is not genuine. A genuine person and a genuine earned money, that person has to take the money to the bank. So what we are saying now, if we oppose this, we are saying even the genuine people should not deposit the money. Because if I've earned the money at Kipushi border, which one of a member of parliament here is a member of parliament for that constituency, and he knows the business at that border. And we are saying, for me to get 2 or 3 tracks of maize to Mwami border, I earn 700, 800,000 kwacha. I should not deposit the money because I'm paid in dollars. So, honorables, when we want to argue on these things, let's not look at everything through a political eye. We are not building our country. We just have one Zambia. And this Zambia, we need to grow our own millionaires. A good number of people in this town called Lusaka, money has been stolen from them. And my plea is that members of parliament here, who are trackers, they know they are paid in Congo in dollars. 5 tracks in dollar in Congo, they'll give you $30,000. Cash. Then that money you can go and deposit it. Then you are saying, if Honorable so hands that money, that is illicit money. Let's be very frank. Let's be very honest with ourselves. Even as you adjust this money, we cannot adjust again to certain abnormal limits. Today, Madam Speaker, if I had to send 5 trucks, 6 trucks to Congo, I have to go to the bank 3 times to withdraw the money. To send 6 trucks to Congo, that does not help us. We need to build ourselves. We need to build this country. Yes, the news there. Today, we may call PF thieves. The next day, they'll call you PND thieves. The other day, they'll call another political party thieves. But this is business transaction. Let's not look at everything as politics. Let's look at some of these things as business. People are suffering out there. A good number of people in the copper belt today, they cannot deposit the money. They are keeping their money in the houses. Do you know the repercussion? That is our kwacha is losing its value. Because today, if you go to number of foreigners in Ndola, the Somalian community, the money they keep in the houses, it's more than the dollars which is in the banks. The reason, it's our own making. And my prayer to this, through you, Madam Speaker, is that let's look at these things with business mind, not always looking at things with a political eye, as our country, our beautiful country, Zambia, might not just survive with this type of everyone is a thief. Yes, we understand there are thieves out there, and there are genuine people out there. If we are going to find some, for me, I would have been defending that if you're keeping money in your account after doing business, you don't take the money to the bank, then you become a suspect. A normal person has to deposit the money. A truckload of groundnuts from Eastern Province, it's worth $600,000, $5,000. So tell me where that person who has genuinely labored, suffered, exported that groundnuts, and is paid at the market cash, not whereby there's a bank transaction. Where will that person take the money? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Luena.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity for the people of Luena to contribute on this motion. Madam Speaker, this House has had motions brought before, which we have described as vexatious, obnoxious, and frivolous in the past. This particular motion is none of those, Madam Speaker. This motion is shocking, alarming, and completely outrageous. Madam Speaker, the immediate past debater was giving examples of a farmer selling 600 bags. This motion has got nothing to do with assisting small-scale farmers making hundreds of thousands of dollars and needing to deposit money in the banks. This motion is about creating a channel for illicit financial flows. Madam Speaker, how can we this morning, with the people out there listening, pass a motion that is seeking to to create an opportunity for people who obtained millions of dollars, which they cannot account for how they earned the money, to walk into a bank with a trunk full of dollars and go and deposit it in a country where legal tender is kwacha? Would you have been mining those dollars for you to end up with $1 million that you need to deposit in the bank?
Madam Speaker, this motion is seeking to deal with a problem whose origin, both the mover and the seconder and my honorable friend who has debated in support have failed to explain. In fact, the seconder even suggested that it's a questionable motion. He said he knows that some people will ask about where is this money coming from. But he says, please don't worry about where the money comes from. Let's just allow people to go and deposit this money. Madam Speaker, that's why I'm saying it's shocking. And I wish this particular debate was held in camera, because I don't know what the people in Kafisa now are thinking about my honorable friend. I don't know what the people in Petauke are thinking about my honorable colleague. Madam Speaker.
Order. Honorable Member for Luena, let's not debate our honorable members. They have a right to debate. It's a motion that is on the floor of the House. They have expressed their views. Just express your views, factually, not attacking each other. Proceed.
Well guided, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the stability of any country's financial system is the beginning of a stable economy. This country already has a liberalized foreign exchange system. We allow individuals in this country to walk into the bank and deposit money. It's no wonder this motion is acknowledging that, but seeking to increase the limits available on a daily basis. In other countries in the region, Madam Speaker, even if you walk with $1 million there, you won't be able even to walk into a supermarket and buy an apple, because everybody you go to will tell you, go to the bank and come with a legal tender in this country. Try that in South Africa. And talking about South Africa, Madam Speaker, it is the reason why we wouldn't want to increase the daily limit. Just a few days ago, yesterday, there was a debate about how hundreds of thousands of dollars arrived in that particular country. Why? Because their laws are very restrictive on how much money you can bring in the country in terms of foreign exchange. And Zambia would not want to open itself to terrorism. We do not want to open ourselves, Madam Speaker, to money laundering. We already have a problem with that. We do not want to open ourselves, Madam Speaker, to even human trafficking. When you create a parallel foreign exchange money flow system, there is only one thing guaranteed: you undermine your own economic stability. This motion is not helpful in any way, and therefore the people of Luena, Madam Speaker, and us this side in general, do not support this motion at all. This motion, Madam Speaker, if entertained, even the people of Shangombo do not entertain it. If entertained, Madam Speaker, this motion would achieve only one thing, and that's to open the floodgates of people who obtained money illegally. In fact, the only benefit that has come out of this motion, Madam Speaker, is for the law enforcement agencies out there to take note. The law enforcement agencies must take note. There are people sitting with millions of dollars in this country, and they now are seeking an opportunity to clean it through the financial system. Madam Speaker, there is a lot we could have said. Short of simply saying this motion should not even have come before the floor of this House, because it is scandalous, it is shocking, and it is scary, and therefore we do not support this motion, Madam Speaker. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Nkana.
Madam Speaker, first of all, I'm very shocked that a member of parliament would stand on the floor of this House and express sentiments as the two members of parliament that have spoken against this motion. I'm very shocked. The difficulty we have is that we have a very narrow perspective of how we are looking at issues in this country. Madam Speaker, there are countries that celebrate success. We are a country that celebrates suffering. We are a country that rejoices when people are wallowing in poverty. That is what beats me. This motion is about enhancing trade. We are a country that depends on importations more than exports. All our businesses, Madam Speaker, are about us bringing things, either we are supplying to the mines or otherwise. To be able to buy spares, if I am to supply, the way I supply to the mine, I have to deposit money into my account and transact. What the mover of the motion is basically stating, and let me be very candid, if our agenda is to support or to fight illicit financial transaction, the best avenues to fight illicit financial flows is the bank. Madam Speaker, through the Financial Intelligence Center, banks have actually been given more or less what they call a red flag. When you take money into the bank that is suspected, there will be a red flag that will be raised by the banks to the security agencies. And so if we have to fight grafts, if we have to fight illicit financial movement, we solely rely on the banks to be able to signal us of these movements. What the opposers are saying, they are encouraging people to keep money in the homes. The mover of the motion is encouraging people to take money where it can be monitored. Madam Speaker, the thinking that everybody who has earned money is a criminal is colloquial, is ancient. People work hard, Madam Speaker. People work hard in this country. Honorable Member of Parliament, Honorable Menyanzulu, has given a very simple illustration of how people earn money, even from agricultural activities. Somebody goes with his agricultural products to sell in the Congo, where we know that's an instant market that gives us no currency but the dollars. You have somebody who has got $100,000 who cannot go and deposit money. The problem we have with our friends who are opposing is that they think everybody who puts on a good suit is a criminal. Our friends there think that everybody who is driving a Maserati is a criminal. Our friends think that everybody who is building is a criminal. Not everybody is a criminal, ladies and gentlemen. We must celebrate prosperity in this country. A country can only prosper through its citizens. We must encourage people to work hard. That is why I have been on record. When somebody brought a very vexatious motion in this parliament to say we must subject people to, what did they call it? Lifestyle audit. That is colloquial, Madam Speaker. That's ancient. In this age, you want to be subjecting people to come and account for how they bought a TV. We are promoting laziness. Madam Speaker, our people are scared today because of such thinking. Let us celebrate success, Madam Speaker. I cannot stand here and believe myself that Honorable Member Anakoka would stand and object such a very progressive move. This is about enhancing trade.
Order,
Madam
order,
Speaker.
order. Honorable Member, as I guided earlier, please let's not... Order. Let's not debate ourselves. Let's debate the motion. Let's stick to the issues. The Honorable Member expressed his opinion. You can also express yours without necessarily attacking each other. You may proceed.
Very well guided, Madam Speaker. I just shudder to think that in this age, people can think as low as we are thinking. Now is a time when we must embrace reality. Today, Madam Speaker, if you go just in Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe will not ask you, will not subject you to forensic if you bring in whatever currency you bring in there. They are worried.
Order. Honorable members, make notes. Don't debate while you are seated. Please, let's allow the Honorable Member from Ghana to conclude his debate, and then you'll be recognized. Honorable Member from Ghana, please proceed.
Madam Speaker, perhaps let me go back to kindergarten. The mover of the motion is simply saying we have come at a point as a country when we must promote trade, when we must uplift the well-being of our people. We will not build our people if we don't encourage them to engage in trade. Now, in trade, unfortunately, the medium of exchange is not only dollar. Even these members of parliament, when they were buying their vehicles, they were quoted in dollar. It's not only kwacha, I said. Dollar is also a recognized medium of trade in Zambia. If somebody is arguing, then they are being economic with the truth. The mover of the motion is saying, let's encourage Zambia to prosper through its citizens. Zambia will not prosper if we continue to gag its people from engaging in trade. The mover of the motion is saying the limit of 20,000 for one to deposit when they've earned that money is not correct.
Order, there's a point of order. Honorable Member for Mongu Central, what's the point of order?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I rise in pursuant of Standing Order 65. The Speaker, who is on the floor, has just stated that lifestyle audits are ancient. But lifestyle audits are an auditing tool that many auditing companies are using to ascertain the legitimacy of employees and earnings. Is it therefore in order to share ignorance in this House, Madam Speaker?
Order, Honorable Member for Mongo Central, the use of the word ignorance, please. Can you withdraw? You can't call your Honorable Member ignorant. Use another word to describe.
Madam Speaker, I withdraw the word, but the question still stands that is he in order to mislead himself and this nation? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member from Ghana is just debating, he's expressing his opinion. If he believes that there is a lifestyle audit is ancient, that's his opinion. You can't argue with him.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much for helping me. I know the Honorable Member was raising a point of order, was in South Africa for a very long time.
Order, Honorable Member from Ghana. Do not debate. Once there's been a ruling on a point of order, you proceed. Do not debate a ruling.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I remember when I was very young, there used to be what was called seated. Seated is what was referred to as a hostile, a lifestyle audit. I think that, let me close that chapter and wind up by saying, in very simple terms, from kindergarten perhaps, so that people can understand it in very simple terms, the mover of the motion is simply saying, it's time for us to begin to celebrate success. Success won't come if we gag people from engaging in commerce, in trade. And for us to be able to engage in trade, people must have the ability, the freedom to be able to go to the bank with huge sums of money. Now, the Honorable Member from Kamfinsa said, if we are interested in understanding where that money is coming from, there are other applicable laws that we can use to be able to monitor where money is coming from. This particular issue is about citizens walking to the bank, having worked so hard, taken goods to the border, and huge sums of dollars genuinely to be able to take that money to the banks. There was a day when the Member of Parliament for Petauke brought a scenario here where a businessman was robbed right at the bank. Is that a scenario we would want to be seeing in the country? Madam Speaker, people are wallowing in poverty today. They are resorting to criminal activities. You do not want your people, Madam Speaker, to be attacked for being in possession of money. That money must be taken to the banks. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Zambezi East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to debate the motion that was moved by the Honorable Member for Petauke and seconded by the Honorable Member for Kamfinsa. Madam Speaker, at the outset, I'd like to set the record straight that I do not support such a frivolous motion. Madam Speaker, I think the mover of the motion was motivated by street business, which is not regulated anyhow. But a financial system is regulated, and we need to understand the parameters within which we need to operate in a financial system. Madam Speaker, any financial system is highly regulated in any country. And at the center of regulation of a financial system is a central bank. In our case, it's the Bank of Zambia, which sets out these rules that must be complied with by anybody.
Order. Let me just give guidance. Honorable Member for Petauke Central, you are the mover of the motion. Just take down the notes. Whatever point you want to raise, you'll be given an opportunity to respond. So there's no need of you raising a point of order midstream. Just listen to the debate and then respond accordingly. May the Honorable Member for Zambezi East proceed.
Madam Speaker, before I was disturbed, I was just about to say that at the center of regulating any financial system is the central bank. In the case of Zambia, it's the Bank of Zambia that regulates our financial system. Of course, assisted with the Financial Intelligence Center. And then, where laws have been floated, DEC comes in, and we have Police and Corruption Commission, and also the Zambia Security Intelligence Services. All these play a part in making sure that rules that have been set in a financial system are followed. Madam Speaker, all that is done in order to avoid several things. One, to avoid distortions in a financial system, which affect our economic indicators. And therefore, we are subscribers to what is known as the Basel rules. I'm not sure if the honorable mover of this motion even understands what Basel rules are. Basel rules, Madam Speaker, there is a committee, an international committee called the Basel Committee.
Honorable Member for Zambezi East, please concentrate on your debate. Do not attack the movers of the motion. Please, let's maintain some harmony in the House. Proceed, but please, no personal attacks on the movers.
Madam Speaker, I just want to explain a little bit about Basel rules. The Basel Committee has actually issued guidelines which help regulate central banks, supervise the players in the financial system, who are these financial intermediaries, like the banks. And it's emanating from these rules, which are international, that the central bank regulates and puts up these rules, which we have to follow. So you might be thinking, you might be wondering where these restrictions are coming from. It's from that background. So that knowledge is very important. Once you appreciate it, then you know why these things exist, because part of the use of the Basel rules is to curtail money laundering, financing terrorism, and the like. So we need to understand that background before we could actually come up with wild declarations. Madam Speaker, coming to really the Basel framework, which is a full set of standards of the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, which is the primary global standard setter for prudential regulation of banks. We now have the central bank setting those limits, which we have here in Zambia. Now, you ask me, what is the motivation of setting those rules, especially on daily cash deposits? Of course, daily cash deposits are one quick form of laundering money which is illicitly obtained. I was literally not really shocked, very surprised indeed, to see a motion being actually floated on the floor of this House to encourage money laundering. Because, I mean, this is literally washing the cash so that it goes in the financial system. But you see, those rules have been put in place so that we curtail such kind of moves, of course, with parameters set. In any case, anybody that is involved in genuine business would use bank accounts. There is no law that restricts you from transferring colossal sums of money in foreign currency from one account to the other. Why not use those avenues to transact? If you have really done genuine business in US dollars, even I, as an individual, Madam Speaker, let me give that an example. I sold a vehicle the other day, and I needed to receive about $100,000. It was transferred to my account. I simply produced the invoice. And the person who was paying me the $100,000 in my individual account, it's not even a business account. I had an explanation to it because there's something I was selling, and an invoice was existing. So such transactions can happen. I can actually receive even $200,000 or $1 million in my account as long as I'm able to show what I was selling for that payment. So where is the problem then? Here it is. Somebody is suggesting that this mechanism which has been put in place, which will make it very easy for Financial Intelligence Center to monitor how transactions are moving, should be curtailed so that we can assist those keeping stacks of money in the homes to launder it through the banks. That shall not happen, Madam Speaker. That cannot be allowed because it is against the very basic rules which we ascribe to in order for us to assist in making sure that money laundering internationally is curtailed. So these rules are important. They exist. They are systems. You need to take stock of where we're coming from. In any case, here in this country, it's relaxed. As I heard from my previous debater, Honorable Nakoka, mentioning that foreign exchange in this country is, after all, liberalized. There are no restrictions. You can walk in a bank and buy US dollars. You can transfer US dollars from one account to the other in payment. But to loosen it up, to assist you, to wash that money which you earned illicitly, that will not happen. Not in this government, Madam Speaker. We are here to control things. And in any case, we are moving in close. So for those of you who are keeping stacks in your homes, it's time to own up.
Oh, the honorable member for Zambia East. Please do not attack any honorable member in this house. Just debate based on the facts and on the motion instead of pointing fingers at any particular person.
Madam Speaker, I always treasure your guidance. But this, of course, I'm motivated by really trying to comprehend what is the motivation of trying to take cash to the bank so that it's increased, so that people start depositing over and above the limits that are set. You see, if we give an answer to what the motivation is, I have an answer myself. It's to simply clean, the motivation is to clean the illicit money that PF and others earned, which we shall not allow, Madam Speaker. That we shall not allow. That's why this motion, us on this side, cannot support it, because we have a decent government and we will follow international rules so that we make sure that this country is governed by the rule of law. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning will respond on behalf of government.
I thank you, Madam Speaker, and I wish to thank Honorable Banda for the motion that has been laid on the floor, which unfortunately we have to reject. Madam Speaker, transactions are always taking place in an economy. In other words, somebody is selling, somebody is buying. In those transactions, payments take place. And there are different types of payments that take place. In some payments, it is cash. In some payments, it's transfer across banks. As Honorable Kambita says, the trend in the modern world is to minimize cash transactions in favor of transactions through transfers. That is the modern trend. And there are good reasons for that, which I'm going to address. So in this country, Madam Speaker, we are encouraging transactions via the banks because then we have an opportunity to be able to monitor and distinguish genuine from illicit transactions. We can monitor that. Zambia Revenue Authority can be able to see who is making money and therefore should pay tax. Other investigative agencies can also monitor. So this is why we encourage transfers across the banks. However, I think the Bank of Zambia is practical. They know that in certain places there's prevalence of cash transactions. For example, on the Congo side. And for that reason, in spite of the measures to discourage cash transactions, for that reason, they've made provisions for cash transactions to take place. Madam Speaker, as we stand right now, as other people have said, if you are an individual and you are thinking of depositing, you are allowed up to $20,000 per day. $20,000 per day you are allowed to deposit. If you're a company, you are allowed to deposit up to $100,000 per day. $100,000 per day. Madam Speaker, what Honorable Banda is saying is that $20,000 is not enough. $100,000 is not enough. And we are saying that this is more than adequate. This is more than adequate. Because the colleagues there have been saying you are stifling trade. You are discouraging transactions. You are fighting people who are working hard. Madam Speaker, among us individuals, who is able to generate $20,000 per day? How many of us individuals is able to generate $20,000 per day? Okay? $20,000. And those people are not able...
Can we listen to the debate?
And those people, we are told, they are not able to transfer that $20,000 through the banking system. It must be through cash. Madam Speaker, how many companies today can easily earn $100,000 in cash? I'm not talking about total revenue. Total revenue may be higher, but the question is how many can earn more than $100,000 per day? Cash. How many of them are there? The answer, Madam Speaker, is that very few, if any. Because I was doing some calculations here. With my agriculture expert, Honorable Mtoro, to say if you are going to export groundnuts, for example. If there were farmers, say from Eastern Province, who were delivering trucks of groundnuts worth $100,000 and beyond, we would not be talking about poverty in this country. Yeah? Because it would mean every farmer would be a rich farmer. Every farmer would be a rich farmer. So, in my opinion, Madam Speaker, these limits that have been set by the Bank of Zambia, and in fact, these limits were not just set in abstract terms. Consultations were made with the business community. They've looked at the data of those who are genuinely exporting into DRC, and they are there. They've looked at the data. This major exporter, how much of cash are they generating per day? This one, how much are they generating per day? This is how the limits were set. But the colleagues are now saying this is too little. So the question is this money really the one that you are saying is in the houses? Are you sure this money is from groundnuts? Are you sure this money is from beans? Are you sure this money is from Finkuvala? The answer, Madam Speaker, is that this money is coming from elsewhere. This money is coming from elsewhere. Madam Speaker, somebody said we need to have foreign currency so that we can import. We need to deposit foreign currency so that we can deport. Madam Speaker, I thought in this country there is total freedom. If you want to import anything, what do? You go to the bank. You ask your bank, transfer so much, even if it's just kwacha. Even on a kwacha account, you want to import stuff, you tell your bank, out of my kwacha account, convert so much into $30,000 because I'm importing an engine. I'm importing something. There's no problem. So, colleagues, the money that is in the bank, in the houses, is not there because people have been exporting groundnuts or finkuvala or fish. It is there from other sources. And this is where we are saying the current arrangements are more than adequate. The current arrangements are more than adequate for a genuine exporter to be able to deposit that money into the bank. Because if you're an individual, $20,000 per day. And we aren't saying per month. This is per day. Today, $20,000. If you end this export of groundnut, say you end, say 100,000. Today, you can go and deposit 20,000. Tomorrow, you can go and deposit 20,000. The other day, you can deposit another 20,000. So where is the problem? Where is the problem? So, Madam Speaker, the answer to this is that there are adequate provisions for genuine business people to deposit their cash generations. Those who are complaining, obviously, they are complaining because there are other reasons that are underlying. And therefore, Madam Speaker, this motion has to be rejected because it is not in the interest of Zambia. And remember also, we are members of the global fight against terrorism and money laundering. We are members of that, and we are being monitored. Zambia, like all other countries, are being monitored to see whether we are complying with that. So if you bring something like this, and then the others say Zambia is abetting money laundering and the financing of terrorism, you are going to tarnish the whole image of the country. So those who have problems, let them find other ways of sorting out these problems. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Petauke Central, wind-up debate.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Firstly, I want to thank the people who have debated on this motion, which is non-controversial. Unless where you are coming from, you don't have businessmen. Unless where you are coming from or where you are seated, you have never bought a vehicle using dollar. Madam Speaker, let me first clear to some people without a right frame of mind. Some people without a right frame of mind who wants to shoot a motion like the doctor. Madam Speaker, when you go to Solowezi today, when you go to Kipushi, you find that there are a lot of Congolese. When you go to Zambezi, near Chavuma, Zambezi East, and the people of Zambezi East, Sorowezi East, they are watching. When you go to Chavuma, you find that there are a lot of Angolan people who comes with $1 to buy beans, groundnuts, maize from our farmers from Zambia. And those people, if they want to buy beans from our farmers, they come with $1. They don't have transfer, and then they can't trust each other because it's a black market, Madam Speaker. It's a give and take. Then if someone now from Angola or from Congo comes and buys the whole truck road, the whole truck road which I'm sure one bag of beans, it's about $1,000. Now 30 ton, it loaded. Don't argue with me, let me debate. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, $1,000 times the 600 bags, which is 30 ton. It's how much, Madam Speaker? It's a lot of money. It's $600,000. Now $600, can you be safe moving with it? I'm sure the people of Zambezi are seeing what kind of a reader they have because they can attack that people. And then him will be on the forefront saying that my people are attacked. Coming here to raise the...
Order, honorable members, can we have some... Can we be quiet, please? Can we have some order in the House? Honorable member for Petauke, please wind up debate.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for your guidance. And Madam Speaker, right now as we are talking, it's like the poor people in our country here, they are not represented, Madam Speaker. Why I say so, I'm winding up the debate. Madam Speaker, Kanyama Member of Parliament here is an example. Madam Speaker, when you go to Soweto right now, there are some trucks of apples, carrying apples, which are being sold. There are trucks of oranges, and it's there. And then those people, there are some Congolese who have just come in Soweto right now, buying. And me, I've been a victim of that because my mother used to sell oranges there in Soweto. From South Africa. Now, those Congolese, they come with money. They don't have bank accounts. And for one Congolese just to order one canter, will spend maybe more than 60,000 US dollars. Now, how is this someone going to go to Soweto? Is there the honorable member for Kanyama?
Order, honorable member. Order.
Madam Speaker, am I protected?
Honorable member for Petauke. Let's be factual, please, as we debate. Otherwise, everybody else will go to the orange way and think they'll get 60,000. Let's be factual. May you proceed?
Madam Speaker, thanks. I need your protection for these members. I'm sure they don't understand. They don't read. I don't know what degrees and what qualification they have for them to fail to lead the standing order, which says standing order 57. It's very clear to say someone he can only speak in the House upon the presiding officer's approval. But these are just opening. Madam Speaker, what? Are they educated or what? Madam Speaker, when you take a truckload of groundnuts to Kasumbalesa, Madam Speaker, you are not going to sell using a bank account. A truckload of groundnuts, it's how much, Madam Speaker? As I conclude, Madam Speaker, the Member of Parliament for Mong, he wasn't also in order to bring his ignorance into this one. And the members of Parliament for Zambezi East to bring also his downness into the here, whereby we represent the people. But him,
Honorable Member for Petauke. Honorable Member for Petauke, you are out of order. Order, honorable members. I put the question. The question is that this House urges the government to increase foreign currency daily deposit limit in commercial banks. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. I think the noes have it. The question is negatived. The clerk will now read the orders of the day.
The Securities Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2022, committee stage.
I now consolidate orders number 1, 2, and the House will, I now consolidate orders number 1 and 2, and the House will now resolve into committee.
Order. We start with the Securities Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2022. There are 2 amendments. I'll be calling upon Mr. Kafwaya and the Minister of Finance. Clause 1, short title, any debate, any objection? Clause 1 is agreed to. Clause 2, I'll start with the Minister of Finance. Clause 2, amendment of Section 2. The question is that Clause 2 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Madam Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 2 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 2 be amended with the words as circulated. Any debate, any objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 2 as amended, any further debate? I call Mr. Kafayana. Oh, I finished. Okay. I'll call upon Mr. Kafwaya.
Madam Chairperson, I beg to withdraw the amendment as the amendment is similar with the Minister's moved amendment.
Thank you. I put the question. The question is that Clause 2 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 2 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. We move to clause 3. Clause 3, amendment of section 9. Is time up? Yes, okay. Order. As the time is 10:40 hours, I suspend business for 20 minutes for a healthy break.
Until 11 hours, and under consideration is a Securities Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2022 at committee stage, and the House has just considered the clause 2 of section 2, and whose amendment was moved by Minister of Finance and National Planning, and the Lunta Member of Parliament withdrew his amendment, as the amendment was similar to what the Minister proposed.
And a little bit earlier, we did have a motion that was moved by Petauke Member of Parliament, Mr. Emmanuel Banda, titled Increase Foreign Currency Daily Deposit Limits, and this particular motion was seconded by Kamfinse MP, Mr. Kangombe, that this House urges the government to increase foreign currency daily deposit limits in commercial banks. And when the question was put, this particular motion was actually negative. Just now, we take a break. We'll be right back.
The National Assembly of Zambia has embarked on an initiative to plant trees in order to help mitigate the climate change crisis as resolved by the 144th Assembly of the Interparliamentary Union held in Bali, Indonesia. In line with this initiative, the Zambia Forestry and Forest Industries Corporation, ZAFICO, donated pine seedlings to the National Assembly of Zambia as a contribution to this noble cause. Speaking during the donation at Parliament buildings, ZAFICO Managing Director Mr. Mundia had this to say about the tree planting initiative.
Climate change has devastating effects on various sectors of the economy, both globally and national levels. The effects have not spared Zambia, and in the past few years we've witnessed flash floods, droughts in some parts of the country. To address these challenges, we need concerted efforts across all levels of governance. The Corporation has noted the role the National Assembly of Zambia is playing in mitigating the effects of climate change through enacting legislation and various international protocols aimed at addressing its effects. As a corporation involved in the establishment and management of the forest plantations, we want to join forces with the National Assembly in addressing the effects of climate change. Honorable Speaker, ZAFICO currently manages approximately 60,000 hectares of exotic tree plantations on the Copperbelt, Muchinga, Luapula, northern and northwestern provinces of Zambia. The corporation attaches great importance to the promotion of environmental sustainability as reflected in the strategic plan for the period 2020 to 2024. In this plan, the corporation recognizes that social, economic, and environmental responsibilities to its stakeholders are integral to its business. For this reason, beginning this tree planting season and in future, ZAFICO will deliberately support the promotion and establishment of forest outgrower schemes by individuals, corporates, and communities. In this regard, the corporation, under its corporate social responsibility program, has set aside 100,000 seedlings to promote tree planting in the economy. This year we're planting close to 7 million trees. The National Assembly is the first recipient of the seedlings through the donation of 5,000 pine seedlings. Through you, Honorable Speaker, we wish to urge Honorable Members of Parliament to play a critical role in planting trees, starting with the seeds being donated today. Honorable Speaker, ZAFICO commends the National Assembly for promoting tree planting and remains confident that this initiative will translate into encouraging more individuals from within communities to plant trees.
In appreciating the gesture by ZAFICO, Speaker of the National Assembly, the Right Honorable Madam Nelly Muti, commended Zafiko for reinforcing the IPU resolution on climate change and helping to create a greener parliament.
This donation of the pine tree seedlings has come at the right time when parliaments worldwide, through the Inter-Parliamentary Union, IPU, have resolved to promote greener parliaments through the tree planting exercises. This is in line with the March 2022 Nusa Dua Declaration, Getting to Zero, Mobilizing Parliaments to Act on Climate Change, that was endorsed by the 144th IPU Assembly. The Assembly also observed that climate change and its impacts do not respect national boundaries. To this effect, Zambia, as a country, has not been spared by climate change. Hence, they continue to see its consequences in our communities, constituencies, and all across the country. It is therefore gratifying to see Zafiko take this initiative to partner with the National Assembly in this noble cause, which will allow us to contribute to addressing the adverse effects of climate change. Your donation today helps us to continue with our efforts aimed at mitigating the impact of climate change. You may wish to note that I launched the first tree planting exercise in Chongwe under the theme Promoting a Green Parliament. The exercise is aimed at planting 1,000 trees in each constituency. I am happy to inform you that we have so far conducted tree planting exercises in Chongwe, Chawama, Matero, and Feira constituencies. Therefore, your initiative to donate the pine tree seedlings to honorable members is timely. It will encourage members of parliament to spearhead the planting of trees in their respective constituencies.
Following the handover of the seedlings, the Honorable Madam Speaker led the entourage to plant some pine seedlings on Parliament grounds. And representing members of Parliament, Mangango Member of Parliament, Mr. Luhamba Mwene, planted a tree of commitment to the exercise. In demonstrating the partnership, Zafiko Managing Director Mr. Mundia also planted a tree, followed by the Deputy Clerk in charge of procedure, Mrs. Cecilia Skatele Mambwe.
The Coalition of African Parliamentarians on Human Animal Health and Environment, CAPA, held its first ever expo in Northwestern Province, Kabompo, from the 25th of August to 3rd September 2022. CAPA identified Western and Northwestern provinces as potential trendsetters of the expo. The exposition, which was held under the theme Leaders Connecting Minds for One Health, raised awareness among residents on the opportunities available for them and potential investors from outside the community. The expo brought together stakeholders from mining, tourism, health, agriculture, livestock, among others, so as to explore the market, make new connections, and sensitize the community on various health issues. The official opening of the expo took place on Friday, 1st September 2022. The occasion was graced by Defense Minister Honorable Ambrose Lufuma. The minister and his entourage took time to tour various stands. After touring the stands, Honorable Lufuma delivered a keynote speech on behalf of President Hakainde Hichilema.
It is a great pleasure to officiate at the first Kappa Parliamentary Expo, which is being held
Hello viewers out there, my name is Moses Frank Moyo, Member of Parliament for Lwangen constituency in the eastern part of the country. I'm the second Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly of Zambia. I wish you Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2023. Let's continue watching Parliament TV. That's the only platform we have to reach you and also for you to be able to follow up what your representatives are doing in the House of the People.
Merry Christmas, Kafulafuta people, the lovely people of Kafulafuta. Merry Christmas to all fellow Zambians, and Merry Christmas to my children who are in the United Kingdom, Simbarashe, Mrebwa, Kudakwashe, Mrebwa, and Tinashe Mrebwa. More blessings. We'll see you again during another Christmas time in 2023.
I would like to wish my people in Gwembe constituency a happy Christmas.
I just want to wish my people from Sinta constituency happy Christmas as we celebrate. I'm with you, and let us rejoice together, as we all know that this is a time when Jesus was born. So let us enjoy together and celebrate together, and I will be in my constituency to make sure that we celebrate together Christmas. So you are all welcome to visit my office because I will be available for you.
To members of the public, including the National Assembly staff and all members of Parliament, wishing them the best to come and good health. Not only good health, but also looking up to God, because in everything that we do, without God, we are nothing. Above all, let us exhort God, exhort one another, and share Christmas messages, share New Year messages, share the gifts that we may get or we may afford. I think that is my message to everyone.
Well, it's just a wish for a happy Christmas and a new year to the people of Rukasha constituency. We've spent the year working together. We are hopeful that Christmas is going to bring with it very nice fortitudes, so that when we get to the next year, we will be ready and willing to conquer the year that is going to come. Merry Christmas to all the people of Rukasha constituency. Thank you so much.
Merry Christmas to you, the people of Chifunabuli. I'm wishing you well. Take responsibility of your lives and that of your children. I'm wishing you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2023 New Year.
A Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you, the good people of Milanzi constituency. Remember, Christmas is a time for sharing, but also a time when the Son of God, Jesus Christ, was born.
I would like to wish a happy and Merry Christmas to my beloved wife, Ezilovu Shabiri, my beloved children, the Honorable Speaker, my fellow members of Parliament, as well as management and staff of National Assembly of Zambia. May I also extend a Merry Christmas to the good people of Chipangali, and I would like to urge the entire country that let us celebrate responsibly and let us ensure that we take care of ourselves during the festive period. Life is a precious gift from the Almighty God that we need to protect by all means.
Personally, like people in Kanyama, as I wish them, Merry Christmas and eventually Happy New Year, I would want us to come together, work together like Christian, Christy, mobilized us, taught us the word, and gave us what is supposed to be done as a Christian.
Merry Christmas to the people of Pambashe, my traditional authorities, Senior Chief Mushota, the people of Chishinga, the church, and the Zambian people, members of parliament, councillors, the mayor for Kawambwa, and let me not forget my family, and of course to you, the media, and the parliamentary staff. Merry Christmas, and we wish you a prosperous 2023.
From me, especially to the people of Mufira Central constituency, I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Remember that Christmas is the time that we reflect on the birth of our Savior Jesus Christ. It's a moment that we must come together with the families and celebrate His birth and the salvation of this world. And so I just want to encourage you that let's maintain peace, let's show love to one another, let's show love to our neighbors, let's visit our friends and families that we haven't met in a very long time, so that we enter in the new year as one body, because we don't want to enter into the new year, wishing we had not done some of the things that we would wish to indulge into Christmas.
Christmas is about sharing. I think we are aware that God gave us His only Son, and during this time I want to appeal to everyone of you in Mkaika constituency. Please do remember to share something. Do not get it alone. Please, if it is a chicken, don't eat alone. Please share with your colleagues, so that at least we fulfill what God Himself started for us by giving us His only child. So I'm wishing you well this time. Please remember to share, because God gave us His only begotten Son.
My name is Honorable Chrysosta Halwindi Piri, Member of Parliament for Kabwe Central Constituency. I just want to wish a seasonal greeting to our President, His Excellency, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, and Madam Mutinta Hichilema, not forgetting the Speaker of the National Assembly, Madam Nelly Muti, and all her deputies and the staff. Also, I want to wish my people in the Kabwe Central Constituency a festival season, and I want to urge them that let them stay safe during this festival season. We love them all. They have a duty to make sure that they develop our country and our constituency at large, Kabwe Central constituency. Merry Christmas, and wishing you a happy 2023.
First and foremost, Christ is the reason. We have to love one another and ensure that we break bread and share a meal as a constituency and as a people. By moving together, loving one another and sharing what we have, then we are showing love to the entire country. So let's love one another, and also let's share what we have, because not everybody is able to afford a meal. But once we share, then we care for each other.
My word during this festival season to the people of Ncherenge, to the people of Luapula, to the people of this country, and also at National Assembly, I would want to wish you all the best during this festival season. I know it's a period where you are planning, looking at, reflecting on what to be done this year, what you feel you have achieved this year, and what you want to achieve next year. It's a period you are reflecting to look at what is it at best we can do to help ourselves, our families, and also transform our lives for the better. So we wish you all the best as you plan all these things and as you enjoy your Christmas and a New Year.
My Christmas message to the Zambian people is, let us celebrate responsibly. I know these are some of the occasions where people embark to do a lot of vices, but I think we still need to be there even after Christmas and New Year. So we need to do things responsibly. And to the people of Vubwi, for the same, I'm wishing you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2023, so that together, I think we pray to God that He keeps us up to that time, so that we should see a different face for Vubwi.
Festive season.
Right, business is expected to resume in a couple of seconds as the House took a 20 minutes break at 10:40, and under consideration is a Securities Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2022 at committee stage.
The House is yet to consider the Income Tax Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2022. We now take you to the chamber.
When business was suspended, the Committee of the Whole House had just finished considering Clause 2 of the Securities Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 23 of 2022. We now move to Clause 3 of the bill. Order. Clause 3, amendment of Section 9. The question is that Clause 3 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. I beg to move that Clause 3 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 3 be amended with the words as circulated. Any debate? Any objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 3 as amended. Any further debate? I put the question. The question is that Clause 3 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 3 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. We have amendment from Mr. Kafwaya. Do you still wish to continue with amendment number 3 after the minister's amendment?
Yes, Madam Speaker. Madam Chairperson, the amendment is substantially different.
Okay.
I beg to move that the amendment, that Clause 3 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 3 be amended with the words as circulated. Any debate? Any objection? Mr. Kafwaya?
Madam Chairperson, I sincerely thank you for an opportunity to make a submission on this proposed amendment. Madam Chairperson, my proposal to the House is for the House to consider deleting paragraph A, which I now wish to read, and it says in the bill, in subsection 2, by the insertion of the following new paragraph immediately after paragraph U. V. Vet a substantial shareholder, including a substantial shareholder's source of funds, and the beneficial owner of a company whose securities are registered or which is authorized or licensed under this Act. And, Madam Chairperson, this provision is going to, if it went through as it is going to give power to the Securities Exchange Commission to vet shareholders, to vet substantial shareholders, including those who own companies. Now, by that we are saying substantial shareholders in professional insurance, substantial shareholders in Madison Insurance will be vetted for their sources of income which they use to purchase those shareholders. Now, we know in our country where illicit financial flows are rampant, it is in the mining sector. We know that the mining sector accounts for billions of kwacha in terms of illicit financial flows. Now, this sector, where shares and instruments are traded on various platforms, including Lusaka Stock Exchange, I think it is unfair for us to give power to Securities Exchange Commission to go backwards and go and vet those individuals who have invested in Swan Insurance, the former Diamond Insurance, those who have invested in companies like so it is very important that we ensure that those individuals are protected the same way we have protected those who are investing in mining undertaking. Madam Chairperson, I wish to call upon my honorable colleagues to make comparability in terms of treatment of sectors. We need to compare how we are enabling sectors and sector players to participate in what the UPND government are calling economic transformation. It is very important to be consistent. It is very important to be fair. So my proposal to the House is that we consider amending this provision so as to delete it completely from the bill. I submit, Madam Chairperson.
The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. We have looked at the proposal by Honorable Kafwaya, and it is not acceptable. And the reason is this. You recall, Madam Chairperson, that the whole essence of amendment to this bill is to align it with the fight against money laundering and the financing of terrorism. That is the most fundamental reason why this bill came for amendment. Now, that being the case, to prevent the transactions taking place in the securities market, from being conduits of money laundering, that's why it became necessary for us to say, even those who are shareholders of this going forward, they must be vetted. And Madam Chairperson, this provision also aligns in other segments of the financial sector. When you are talking about pension funds, when you are talking about the banking sector, it's the same provision or the same principle that we should not allow money launderers to wash their money through transactions in the securities market or in the banking financial sector. That being the case, when he says delete this, then it defeats the whole purpose of having brought this bill to Parliament. This is why we are rejecting that proposal, Madam Speaker.
I'll put the question for the amendment by Mr. Kafwaya. I put the question. The question is that clause 3 be amended with the words as circulated. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The question is in the negative. The noes have it, and the question is in the negative. Therefore, amendment falls away. We move to the next clause. Clause 4, repeal of section 11 and 12. Any debate, any objection? Clause 4 is agreed to. Clause 5. The question is that clause 5 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Madam Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 5 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that clause 5 be amended with the words as circulated. Any debate? Any objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 5 as amended. Any further debate? I put the question. The question is that Clause 5 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 5 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. We look at the amendment by Mr. Kafwaya on the same clause. Clause 5, amendment of section 19. The question is that clause 5 stands part of the bill. Mr. Kafwaya.
Madam Chairperson, I beg to withdraw the amendment as it is similar with that of the Honorable Minister.
Thank you. We move to clause 6. Extension of new part 2A. The question is that clause 6 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Madam Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 6 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that clause 6 be amended with the words as circulated. Any debate, any objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 6 as amended. Any further debate? I put the question. The question is that clause 6 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. Let's be loud enough if we are with something. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 6 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. We have amendment by Mr. Kafwaya, clause 6, extension of new part 2A. The question is that clause 6 stands part of the bill. Mr. Kafwaya?
Madam Chairperson, I beg to move that the bill be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that clause 6 be amended with the words as circulated. Any debate? Any objection? Mr. Kafwaya?
Thank you so much, Madam Chairperson. Madam Chairperson, the amendment I'm proposing to the House is by deletion of the words prohibit a capital market operator after the word writing, and the substitution therefore of the words issue industry-wide directives to prohibit capital market operators. Madam Chairperson, when SEC is given power to issue arbitrary directives to capital market operators, the industry will not be fairly treated by SEC. It is my considered view that SEC should issue industry-wide. If they want to prohibit a particular transaction type, that transaction type should be prohibited for all players, as opposed to saying, for you, because this company belongs to this person, we prohibit you from trading in this particular instrument. For you, because your name came from this or that, or because you are a foreigner, or because you are indigenous Zambian, we prohibit you from trading in this and that. Would be unfair. It will lead to arbitrary actions, and the industry will become unattractive for investors, and thereby inhibit the inflow of investments in as far as this particular sector is concerned. So I hope that my honorable colleagues can support that we remove that power to make directives to individual investors or individual companies, so that SEC is only allowed to be able to issue industry-wide directives if SEC thinks that a particular instrument should not be traded at a particular time. All of the players should be affected, as opposed to pinpointing, Madison, you can't do that. And I say so, Madam Chairperson, because right now we have public information which is suggesting that SEC has acted in bad faith to audit Madison group of companies in order to obliterate the company. It is in public domain. I have the newspaper, I have the letter. So if SEC will be allowed to take such actions, we have serious problems. And as a matter of fact, I hope the UPND government will not object to this. But if they do, and this goes through, very soon you will hear that Madison group of companies has been wiped out by SEC, because part of the hidden objective in some of these provisions is to obliterate companies such as Madison Financial Services. So, Madam Chairperson, Madam Chairperson, let me read. So, for the comfort of my honourable colleagues, and I will lay this on your table. Let me read what is in public domain, so that my colleagues are comforted. Okay, SEC hired forensic auditor resigns, cites witch hunt against Madison group of companies. And there's a letter from the auditor who resigned, who told the SEC that they cannot continue with the audit because SEC wants the auditor to put conclusions which are predetermined in the audit. And the letter is...
Order, Mr. Kafwaya. I don't think you can use something from the media, reading from the media. Is it possible you can use the copy?
Printed. It's printed. I'm just reading it because of my eyes. You can see the glasses, madam.
Was it approved by the speaker?
No, it has to. The rules say so.
Honorable members, I think let's not just try to argue. We are trying to put things straight the way they are supposed to be done.
Madam Chairperson, this is a public domain. The auditor is there who resigned, and the letter which the auditor wrote is a public document now, and it was written to SEC. Because I'm being advised to use it's a notorious fact. SEC has not paid 45% of the fee because the auditor did not include what SEC wanted to be included in the audit report. And the auditor said, this is witch hunt, and the auditor, because it's an ethical auditor, said cannot continue. And this letter has gone to Bank of Zambia, it's gone to PIA, it's gone to SEC, and hence I also have access to it. However, for the Honourable Minister's concern, these are the provisions which will now empower SEC to do what they are trying to do to Madison group of companies with impunity, because we will have given them unnecessary power. Honourable Minister, this House will be judged harshly by posterity if we go ahead with such provisions, because these provisions, Honourable Minister, cannot give unfettered powers to SEC when in fact we know.
Order, Honourable Member. Before you raise that point of order, I've got some guide, because I had mentioned it in the beginning, the way we are supposed to use the tabling of private documents. If we can go to Standing Orders number 140, it clearly says tabling of private document by backbenchers. A backbencher who wishes to table a private document shall seek prior permission of the Speaker. In seeking permission under paragraph 1, the backbencher shall submit a copy of such document to the Speaker at least 12 hours in advance to enable the Speaker examine it. A member who has prior permission to table a document under paragraph 2 shall table it immediately after he or she has finished debating. So it's something that is in the standing order, which we have to follow. Very clear. It's not about just stopping the member debating. So with that guide, Honorable Member, I think you can use another avenue of debating instead of relying on what you are trying to read from the cell phone. Thank you. Mr. Jamba, is that in line with your point of order?
Madam Speaker, Madam Chairperson, I must declare interest that I was part of the committee which looked into this securities bill. And when we are looking into this issue, we were not looking at a company like Madison Insurance. This law is not meant for Madison Insurance. And therefore, there are battles, the battles which they are fighting in the courts. My point of order is that is the honorable member in order to bring discussing Madison Insurance into the law, into the preparation of the law in this house and quoting them that they were actually in the courts of law. Standing order 65. Yes, standing order is the relevance of the topic. Let me finish, Madam Chairperson.
Order, honorable member. We've heard you, but what would be useful for you, because we are not all in the committee, is just for you to come and debate the subject so that we can have information rather than bringing it in a point of order. So I will allow you, honorable member, to debate. We have a lot of time, actually. So, Mr. Kafwaya, I was saying, you've heard from what I said from the standing orders. So if you can please clearly put your debate in another form.
Madam Chairperson, I will not lay this document on the floor. I will just make reference to it. Because as everyone is aware, we are informed by what goes on in our political, social, and economic environment. Madam Chairperson, the other amendment I'm trying to move on the same clause, which I'm lobbying my honorable colleagues to support, is in line 25 to 27 by deleting the paragraph B and substitution, therefore, of the following. B should read, the capital market operator, without reasonable cause or justifiable reason, obstructs or refuses to permit an inspection or review in accordance with this act. And for the benefit of my colleagues, the provision we are trying to replace reads, the capital markets operator obstructs or refuses to permit an inspection or review in accordance with this act. Now the danger here, Madam Chairperson, is an inspector can be coming to your office when you are closing, and then because they have got predetermined outcomes of these investigations, they go and say you refused for us to enter. So there has to be a provision to say unless you refuse without a justifiable reason. Somebody can come on Sunday when you are at church, on Monday, or should I say on Sabbath, when you are at church, and then they go and say, no, we came to your premises and you refused. So when there is justifiable reason why SEC cannot enter the premises, that should be allowed. So to just put it like this is dangerous, particularly for a SEC whose conduct you may have seen from what is happening in the public domain. Madam Chairperson, I lobby my honorable colleagues, and I call upon the conscience of this House, because I am looking at this House in 5 years from now. How are the Zambian people going to look at us to have passed such a provision? Madam Chairperson, I wish to submit.
Thank you. Mr. Anakoka, I keep on seeing the name coming, going.
It's come now.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I just wish to respond to the two items being proposed by my honorable colleague. The first one. Yeah, I'm debating, yes. Yes, I wish to debate on the proposed amendments. Thank you.
All the honorable members, he wants to debate.
And in my debate,
all the amendments that have been brought forward
thank you,
by
Chair.
Mr. Kafuaya.
And in my debate, I will be responding to the proposer. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Madam Chairperson, the suggestion that a market regulator such as SEC should be restricted to issuing industry-wide directives but have no power to issue a directive to a capital market operator cannot stand. The very reason you need a regulator, Madam Chairperson, is so that you can nip any mischief in the bud. So there are instances, those who are familiar with capital market operations, where a particular little loophole might exist in the regulations. And one industry operator or one market operator takes advantage, and it threatens the very sustainability of the capital markets. The security market regulator should be able to regulate and issue directives accordingly to that specific operator. So it is necessary that SEC should have the right to go to a specific market operator. The less said about the examples being given about Madison Insurance, the better, because it's completely unrelated. And in fact, probably unprocedural to even link that a particular law should be made, because a particular instance concerning a particular company is proceeding in a manner that one or two individuals are not happy. Certainly we can't make laws like that. Madam Chairperson, the other issue that has been suggested of preventing an inspector from entering premises. In situations of this nature, market operations, Madam Speaker, securities and capital market operations, I meant to say, time is of essence. If something amiss, some mischief is being perpetrated, you cannot talk about that because it's a Friday, we have to wait for Monday. The world doesn't